You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
30 seconds to
What do you
air.
think about
Actually,
flowers?
I think we
The
should
show
have-
notes
These
page.
are for the guests.
Hey, I'm gonna need some more books for these mics.
Anyone have the promo for the show notes?
Is this? Wait, where's the Fiji water? Is this tap water?
15 seconds.
Somebody get the cat.
I can't drink tap water.
Grab the cat.
Can someone tell Joe's mom to stop vacuuming?
It's not hard to find.
Has anybody
This
seen
Fiji.
my hair gel?
Artesian water, natural.
Quiet on the set. Live in 3, 2.
Live from the basement of the YouTube headquarters, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and are you ready for some hot takes? We're rounding out our estate planning and gifting week with some sizzling takes. And we'll ask our panel and you, are you in or out on these challenging options? But that's not all. I can't wait to hit pause on that discussion because halfway through, we're going to see if Paula Pant can do something she's never done before: string together 2 correct answers in a row by nailing my trivia question. And now, here comes a guy who's mastered the art of turning a hot summer mess into cool financial wins. It's Joe Saul-Sehy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Stacking Benjamin's Friday edition. I am the veteran quarterback of this podcast, Joe Saul-Sehy, just trying to get myself dug back into football mode. We're getting back into football mode.
It's quite a generous label you've given yourself.
Just that I'm a veteran quarterback. I think we've been doing this long enough. If I were in the NFL, I would definitely be a veteran.
Yeah, to the point where you're the guy holding the clipboard with never putting his helmet on the sidelines.
Just cashing in the big paycheck.
He's great in the locker room.
And a guy who we paid double to be here today is with us. Mr. OG's here. How are you, man?
Thankful that you did pay double, actually, because college tuition's due and baby needs new shoes. So
you know
thanks.
what, OG,
Appreciate
screw it. We're going triple today. We'll go triple pay.
Give me a little extra folding money. I like it.
And a woman who's here to negotiate for quadruple pay, because she's our negotiation expert, Paula Pant from Afford Anything joins us. How are you?
I am great, but what is quadruple of 0? Let's see,
Easy.
4 times 0.
It's
Carry the
infinite.
1.
Okay, 5 times, 6 times, Paula.
Whoa.
I know. It is fantastic. And the guy who works for 6 times, I don't know, six times $5, 6 times $10.
I'll take
Jesse
anything I can
Cramer's
get.
here.
I'll take anything I can get. I'll work for peanuts. But yeah, I could see you on the sideline, Joe. I could see you on the sideline, like directly underneath someone, hoisting them into the air, maybe a football sideline. I could see you as the base. You're a bottom. You're a power bottom cheerleader.
Look at me. Look at
There
me.
it is.
Yes. Sun's out, guns out, Jesse. We are ready to go. Well, you know what, guys? We have a great show today. As you can tell, everybody's pretty pumped because this is the end of our estate planning and charitable giving week. And we had a fantastic week. If you missed it, Monday with attorney Tim Semro, we asked him 3 big estate planning questions. Wednesday with Adam Nash from Daffy, going into donor advised funds and charitable giving and how all that works. Well, we've had some fun a couple times earlier this year with this concept called Are You In or Are You Out? And I thought that this week we'll have some hot takes on estate planning and charitable giving that walks through some of the big answers. And what I like, if you're new to this type of thing, this in or out show, what I really like about it is all of the caveats that everybody has, because as you know, it's usually kind of a gray area, but I like, let's deal in absolutes and see what we find out as we explore estate planning and charitable giving. We're going to do that in just a moment. We got a couple of sponsors who make sure we can keep on keeping on as we are live on YouTube. We're going to hear from them. And then, are you in or are you out on these hot charitable giving and estate planning concepts? You may not know that when we started Stacking Benjamins, it was a blog. And even then, just the startup cost, I remember thinking, is this the right thing? And what if I write things and nobody comes, right? Well, luckily, that didn't end up happening. But starting something new isn't just hard. It's terrifying. There's so much work. You're not sure whether it's going to work out. You're not sure if anybody's going to read it. And then we change it to a podcast. Is anybody actually going to listen, right? What if nobody wants all the stuff that we have? Well, had I used Shopify, it would have been even easier, because with their expertise, their helpful tools, and their easy to use platform, that's something that would have made Stacking Benjamins more effective much, much more quickly. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Names you've heard of like Heinz and Mattel, Shopify, Gymshark, Aviator Nation, Allbirds, also all Shopify. Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-use templates. Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. And best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. And did I mention that iconic purple Shop Pay button? It's used by millions of businesses around the world. It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. It also helps boost conversions, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales for you. So you're stacking Benjamins much more quickly. Time to turn those what ifs into with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/SB. Go to shopify.com/SB. That's shopify.com/SB. Dell PCs with Intel Inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. They're for those all-night study sessions, the moment you're working from a cafe and realize every outlet's taken, the times you're deep in your flow and can't be interrupted by an auto update. That's why Dell builds tech that adapts to you. Built with long-lasting batteries so you're not scrambling for an outlet, and built-in intelligence that makes updates around your schedule, not in the middle of it. Find technology built for the way you work at Dell.com/Dell PCs. Built for you. We record this live on a day that may or may not be Friday, and our buddy Dan in Baltimore hanging out with us says, man, I got excited and thought it was Friday for a second. Isn't that great? You hear the Friday show and you think, but then you go, oh, wait, it's not quite Friday yet. And we've got B here with us, who apparently is in Vietnam. So good morning, Vietnam. That's not from a movie, is it? May or may not be. Let's dive in, guys. All right, let's go ladies first. Paula Pant, we're going to start with you. Paula, are you in or out? You should hire an attorney instead of using a DIY online will. Are you in or are you out?
You know, my answer is going to be, it depends on every single one of these.
It can't be. Are you in or are you out?
All right. If I have
you
to pick,
you have to hire an attorney or you have to DIY.
Hire an attorney. But my genuine answer is it depends. But if I must choose a side, I'm in.
Why does it depend?
If you are 22 years old, 18 years old, right? And you're starting to accumulate some of your own assets for the first time, but you don't have that much and you don't have any dependents. All right, I think if you're 18, if you're 22, if you're 25, you can probably DIY one. But once things get more complicated, you have a more complicated array of assets, you have dependents who are depending on you, that's when you want an attorney to come into the picture. but I wouldn't let perfect be the enemy of good.
All right. Well, let's see if our other panelists agree with you. Jesse, let's go to you. Are you in or out? Hire an attorney instead of using one of these DIY online wills.
I am in because I've seen, it's pretty frequent. I think it's a higher frequency than maybe most people assume, where that real interaction with a trust and estate expert might dig up some things that you hadn't thought about, might poke at some concerns that you have that you hadn't really considered before. Or at the very least, it's like the no stone unturned idea, where at the very least you went through the process and you got asked all the questions and you got input from a real expert so that you know that your basic will is fine being basic. I think there can be times when you DIY things like estate planning, there still might always be that nagging voice in the back of your head that says, I think I have a simple plan and all I need is a simple plan and all I need is a simple will, but am I actually sure? So in my experience, taking the time and spending the little bit of extra money that it'll take to hire a professional real life attorney is going to be worthwhile.
Well, let's see if this is 3 for 3. OG, are you in or out? You should hire an attorney instead of using a DIY online will.
Yeah, I'm going to make it 3 for 3. I think when it comes to your estate planning, my cutoff is kids or no kids. People say like, well, I don't have an estate plan. The reality is you do. Whatever state you live in has an estate plan for you. There's rules that they follow. And a lot of this stuff you can accomplish on your own just by making sure that you do your own job, which is make sure the beneficiaries are correct. When you set up an account, make sure you put a beneficiary on your account. And if you're, like Paula said, if you're 18 or 20 or 25 or whatever, and when you start that job or you start your 401k or you start your brokerage account, just put somebody as your beneficiary and you can change it later. But when you have kids, that's where everything changes, because now you need to think about who's going to take care of your kids. And it can't be the one thing I do like about the commercials that are on right now is, like it shows the mom and the dad, like talking to the aunt and going, well, so, if anything happens to us, you're our choice. And then the guy pops up like a genie and goes, doesn't count. And he's like, you got to put this down, you got to follow the rules. It can't just be like, this guy said. And we see so many stories of places who did have a good estate plan that still get challenged and, all that sort of stuff. So listen, if you have kids, you absolutely need to have a professional estate plan done, because you need to spell out who's taking care of them, what are the parameters, how much you're going to pay, what you want your kids to inherit in the future, how you want it to be structured. And you can't just do that through a beneficiary. So no kids, do it yourself. Kids, make sure that you've got a good estate plan.
Well, unless that's even if you have no assets.
No kids and rich. Yeah, you still have to do an estate plan, but you don't have to. That's my point. Like if you just go, I don't want to spend the $8,000 for an attorney. What do I care? There's nobody around to get for my stuff. Okay, that's fine. It's kind of silly.
It's interesting, Paula. I think there's a lot of people think when we hear the words estate plan too, they just think that that's a will. And yet those ancillary documents for people that don't have assets, to OG's point, that still need to worry about, like, what happens to me if I am disabled and I can't talk to my doctors?
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, it could be a will or it could be a trust. And the first thing you need to do is make the decision. Are you going to have a will or a trust? And so you'll need some level of guidance on that. And then B, to your point, Joe, who is your medical power of attorney and what are you going to do in the case that you're incapacitated? And do you want to sign a DNR or not? Do you have an advanced healthcare directive? These are all questions that need to be addressed.
Jesse, with a young one at home, was it difficult for you to decide who would be the guardian that OG's talking about?
Yes.
You just made it Doug, didn't you? That's all you did.
So Doug doesn't know it yet, but if we go down in a, Doug, you're moving back to Rochester. No, it's very hard, because some of the puts and takes that we had to go through is, we've got friends who we're extremely close with. We have family members who we're extremely close with. Some of the family is local to us. Some of the family is not local to us. If it involves a grandparent for us, so one of my parents, one of our daughter's grandparents, there's that question of, well, they might be fit as a fiddle and able to do it right now at age 67. Are they going to be the same way in 15 years when our daughter's 16 and they're 82? Do they even want the job in the first place? So many conversations. And it's, at least for us, it was not cut and dry. I know in some cases, I actually think for my parents, it was pretty cut and dry. They knew exactly who the named guardian would be. And it was like 1 30-minute conversation. Yep. but for us, much, much harder.
All right, Jesse, let's stick with you for question number 2. And I'd love to get, if you're hanging out with us live on YouTube, I'd love to get you in on this too. Tell us if you're in or out on all of these things. The second one, Jesse, is this one. Are you in or out? You should share your full estate plan with your heirs before you die. You should share your full estate plan with your heirs before you die. Are you in or out?
I am in. I am in. I know it's hard to do. I know that there probably are going to be corner cases where people feel like it's just intractable and they're not going to want to do it. But I think that a lot of good comes from being open with your heirs beforehand, letting them know beforehand what's going to happen, especially if what's going to happen could be construed in some way as unfair or even just uneven. Maybe it's not unfair, but it's just uneven. And being able to explain to them why you've set things up the way you've set them up, why certain people are going to inherit certain assets in certain amounts, having to be able to talk through that while you're alive is going to make things go a lot easier upon your death. Whereas if you don't talk to them while you're alive and they all have to find out about it after your death, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. You can't rewrite the documents after you die. And now you're leaving the tension to be settled between them and whoever is administering the estate. Or what's most likely to happen is just like one of your heirs and another heir, right? The siblings are going to fight. The grandchildren are going to fight. I mean, obviously I would think that's something we all want to avoid. So I'm a big fan of talking about it in the open while you're still alive.
I like this idea, OG, before I come to you. I really like this idea that Jesse talks about, that uneven and unfair are really two different things. It doesn't have to be even to still be fair. You can give people different stuff and still have it be, quote, and frankly, fair. Who cares about fair? It's your stuff.
Yeah, I'm not as convinced on this, and I can't put my finger on the reason why, but mostly I think that if you have a good team of people who are going to administer the estate plan after you're gone, and you've built in the right amount of flexibility in your estate plan, then there shouldn't be any like, he got that and I got that. Maybe it's important to have a big, broad discussion about estate planning and, hey, we've taken care of it. And, Jack's in charge and we've put thoughtful things in here on purpose based on what we see or what we believe today. But the reality is that a lot of times you write this stuff today, you write it in 2025, and then maybe you glance at it in 2035 and then you die suddenly in 2042, and it's like the rules that you had were for, like in my case, right? I got a kid who's 18, a kid who's 16, and a kid who's 9. They're all at different levels emotionally right now. None of them are at the spot where they should be in charge of anything.
You could still hold it over the 9-year-old now, though, that you could cut her out of the will.
Oh, no. It's the exact opposite. They all know that their sister's getting all of it. And so they better be nice to their sister. We can tell the daughter that. She's the princess of this whole operation.
Sorry.
I hate these yes or no things because, look, if I was 80 and my kids were 50 and, and I had a good sense of where they were in their life, then I would talk about it. My kids right now know Uncle Jordan's in charge and Cousin Tim, who they both know and respect. And I'm just going to assume that we did a good enough job of flexibility in the plan that they're going to be able to, make good decisions, while the kids are where they are right now.
Well, what I like about these is that we get these nuanced decisions that have found us all kind of flesh out why we truly are in or out as we get all of your opinions. D. Boudreau hanging out with us says, out, even if you explain it, won't necessarily fix it in the last years of your life, could be conflicted. Make sure that all the documents are easy to find. Shane says, definitely in, share with heirs 100%, unless you're like OG and you want to play some dastardly games with your heirs, like make it a scavenger hunt. You think about that, OG? Like an OG family scavenger hunt?
That would be pretty classy. That might happen.
Dan is in.
It's all like a limerick with a bunch of riddles. I'm wet when I'm dry. I'm up when I'm down. Where am I?
Where's the document?
There's the money. It's in a big, buried somewhere.
OG has always wanted to have a video where he's in a smoking jacket where he gets to say, if you're watching this, I'm dead. Like, you've always wanted that.
I have one already.
All right, Paula, we've got one in, one out. You should share your full estate plan with your heirs before you die. Are you in or out?
I'm in. I'm in on that one. I do think that our guest, dboudreau77 in the comments, makes a very good point. Even if you explain it, that won't necessarily fix it. Agree. The last years of your life could be conflicted. Agree. I think those are very, very good points. But in spite of that, hearing you say it when your heirs hear you say it, there is some level of, I may not agree with this, but I at least am clear that this is what the deceased, in this case you, would have wanted. I think about the TV show Succession. There was lack of clarity as to what Logan Roy even wanted, right? And so they were arguing about not just what the documents said, but like what did he want?
It's funny though. What about OG and his argument that, he's looking at kids that are 18, 16, and 9.
Yeah. I guess that goes to the question of what age is a proper age to have conversations with your kids about death or disease or other scary things. I mean, it probably varies. Like there are parents who get a cancer diagnosis when their children are very young. And so they have to start having conversations with their kids about health and disease and death when the kids are at a very, very young age. And then there are other families where everybody's healthy and the grandparents have lived for a very long time. And so the topic of death has never really come up. And so I think that really needs to be a case by case basis.
I kind of agree with what Stacker Annette is talking about online here. She says there are some key people who need to know, Paula. What about this idea of the key people know?
Like the attorneys and the...
No, like the person who's going to administer the state on my behalf, whether it's your contingent trustee or your executor of your will.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, those people, but not the people you're giving the money to.
I think that to the extent that you can share your plans and your wants and your vision with everybody, because everybody is a stakeholder in this, and they're not going to be able to ask you questions when you're gone. So to the extent that you can share as much of it as possible with all of the stakeholders, I think that is better than not.
Oh, gee, you like the idea, though, I'm sure, of the people that are going to play a part in your estate, they all being up to speed on what's going to happen.
Well, again, kind of where we are right now, that just makes the most sense. If I look at another family dynamic that I know about, there's, grandpa, there's his kids who are all grandparents, and they have varying levels of economic success, let's say. There's a big broad brush stroke of like one of the kids is really good financially and has very much said, this isn't anything that I want to be a part of. I don't want to be in charge of anything. I don't want anything. Like, I'm good, Dad. Like, just leave me out of it. So I think that level of communication is really important, because if Dad in that case was like, well, split it a third, that causes more trouble because the one kid now has to figure out how to not get it, because he actually doesn't want anything to do with it. It has nothing to do with, liking or not liking his dad. But I think in our case, the things that we've shared with them is they don't have to ever worry about if they're going to go to school or if they have to move or if the house is going to still be here and that sort of stuff. Like, that's all good. They know that that's taken care of. They know who are the people that are going to help take care of them, and they know those family members really well. So yeah, I mean, I just got to trust that that the trustee people, in this case, my brother and my attorney, are going to do the right thing, and they're going to be held to the standard that they need to be held to, which is why we have the professional in there too. Whatever happens after that, it sounds really trite. It's like, but I'll be dead. I remember having a conversation with somebody maybe a year ago or something about some family stuff regarding some property that this person had, for a long time in the family. And I said, is there any pressure to have to keep it? You just think about like generationally, right? It's like always been the ranch, or it's always been the cottage, or it's all our stuff. Now it's at this generation. And the dad said to the kid, you know what? I actually don't care. I'm the first one to not care. Like, I'm dead, man. Like, you just do whatever you think is the best thing to do with the information that you have at the time. And I think we get so wrapped up into hanging on to the emotion of what the other person who is now deceased would be thinking about. I've said it in the last week. I've said the phrase, my grandmother would be turning over in her grave if she knew ... I'm holding on to that emotion of the experience that I had with my grandmother around this certain topic, going, oh, grandma would be so mad. Grandma's
hard
been
not
gone
to.
for 5 years, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
like she might be looking down from above or whatever, you know, if you believe in that sort of stuff. But I also, she probably is like, I don't care how you address your envelopes, honestly. I just tried to teach you how to do it the right way. But we have so much attachment to the emotion of that stuff as opposed to looking at it from a realistic view, practical view. Yeah.
John in Wisconsin says here in the chat, as somebody who received something not previously discussed at 50, I'm definitely in, as I'm still wondering what I should be doing with it now 10 years later. So leaving something to someone unprepared at a much more likely younger time than I was seems really wrong. Prepare.
Well, but the other side of it too is you run the risk of lessening their, what's the word I'm looking for? Like their drive?
Will to work.
Like, yeah. It's like the family can kind of piece together who's got what. And like, I think that grandma's got $1 million and she told me I'm going to get some of that, you know, and you had that conversation when you were when she was 70 and you were 22, you know, and you don't have the concept of what assisted care costs at $8,000 a month and how fast she's burning through it, you know, in memory care. And you're thinking in your brain, grandma's leaving me $1 million. I don't have to do anything. Well, grandma lives another 27 years. You're 50. You're going, well, finally the old bat kicked off. I get my $1 million to find out that you get 83,000. There's a big risk there, you know, without having ongoing conversations about it. Then I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a good idea.
It is interesting, OG. I just finished, as we record this, the show, The Gilded Age. The current season just ended. And there's a character, Oscar, who in season 1 had a ton of money. He was from a rich family.
No spoilers, no spoilers. I'm at the beginning of season 2.
Okay. Well, some bad stuff happens, Paula. And I will tell you this, he loses a bunch of money.
Basically, he's broke now.
But when he loses that money, OG, to your point, and Jesse, to what you were saying earlier or alluding to, I think, Oscar at the end of season 3 is a much better human being than he was at the beginning of season 1. The adversity and the fact that he had to face life instead of coasting through it on money that wasn't his has made him a much different character. That's all I can say, Paula, without giving. Besides that, he dies. I mean, you know, I'm sorry. Yeah. But thrilling season 3 just finished just before we recorded this episode. But Jesse, I think that's what you're alluding to is like, if you know I'm going to get all this money, I mean, your thoughts around work may change substantially.
Yeah. And in the chat, John from Wisconsin alluded to that. There's a good Warren Buffett quote where he talks about the money he leaves his kids enough so that they can do anything, but not so much so they can choose to do nothing. So I mean, granted, that's
hold on a second. He's leaving his kids like $1 billion.
No, I think he's leaving them like is it that much? It might be. I thought it was like 10 or 15 million each, which don't get me wrong, is still a ton. Like obviously we're talking about a different level of money, but there's that idea that most of us probably want to leave our heirs enough so that they can go out and do something wonderful with the money, however they choose to do it, but not so much that they lose all drive completely and just become a couch potato.
But is 10 million that number? I mean,
I know. This is Buffett we're talking about here, right?
No, what I was going to say was the reality, of course, is that as you grow throughout your life, those numbers also change.
Sure.
What you thought was a boatload of cash at 22 is pretty good money at 32, wouldn't get you out of bed at 52. And at 62 is a minor annoyance because now you got to commingle grandma's RMDs with yours, you know, and it's like, this sucks. I just tried to get out of this tax problem and now I got 18,000 extra dollars I need to deal with, you know? And it's like 50 years ago, that was a whole bunch of money. You could buy a car. And now you just want to give it away so you don't have to deal with it. There's too much that can go wrong by telling people that they're in it. Fine. What they're getting. No.
Yeah. Someone in the chat also just said that exact. I think it was Phi Lighter, if I'm saying this person's name
Paul.
right. Paul said there's the estate plan and then there's the estate assets, for lack of a better term. Two different things. And his beneficiaries have seen the will, so they probably know to some extent maybe how the assets will be divided, but they actually don't know the scope of the assets themselves, right? 50-50 beneficiaries of a $100,000 estate is a lot different than a 50-50 beneficiary of a $10 million estate. I think that's what Paul is alluding to there.
That's the, Jesse, I'm contingent trustee for a family member. And that's the state that I'm in, is that I know how it's all I know what I'm supposed to do. I know where everything is, but I don't know what everything means. I have no idea the scope of the project. I don't know all of that. So he's decided to be private about how much, but in terms of where the estate plan is and what to follow, like that is all crystal clear what my job is. the second that something happens to this family member. All right, we're going to talk about charitable giving in the second half of this and gift giving in the second half. Can't wait for that piece of the discussion. But at halfway through our Friday show, we have this incredible trivia challenge, of which the Paula Pant actually scored a point last week. And we're still a week later. Like, I've got goosebumps, Paula. I don't know about you, but I don't know what's going on there. But I think Doug nailed it at the beginning of today's show. If you can go 2 in a row, that'd be amazing.
Ooh. Wow. If there was a betting market on this show, imagine the payout if anybody were to take that bet and win.
I think it'd be a huge payout because nobody's betting you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Well, no worries there because Paula is still the dark horse with 6.5 points. Jesse, 2 points ahead of her, 2 whole horse lengths ahead of her at 8.5. And OG leading the pack with 11. But we have a little bit of a race going on. A little bit of a race.
We do. All right, Doug, what's on tap, man?
Hey there, Stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and here's a big day in history. Back in 1902, Henry Ford finished a dispute with his investors by leaving his own company. He took his name, $900, and his favorite mixtape and started the Ford Motor Company a year later. However, it was on today's date in history that those investors renamed the operation old Hank Ford left behind as the Cadillac Automotive Company. Crazy, huh? Of course, they named the new company after the line in the Billy Joel song, "He's trading in a Chevy for a Cadillac, you ought to know by now."
Is that the way it worked?
No, it's not it. Sounds true. It's probably true. Anyhow, more recently, Ford went on to create an electric truck called the F-150 Lightning. It took a while, but during the first quarter of this year, the Lightning took over the #1 spot in the USA's electric truck category. So here's today's question. How many units did the Ford F-150 Lightning sell in the first quarter of this year to claim the #1 spot? I'll be back right after I go look up where the name Cadillac actually came from. Maybe it was like an acronym or something. Cars and donuts in lanes, all classy. That works. Probably that.
Cadillac. Maybe. All right.
I missed an L in there.
I'm sure there's some truth there. All right, OG, give us the truth. How many cars the Ford F-150 Lightning, how many did they sell first quarter of 2025?
Something makes me think that the new car market is in the $9 to $12 million a year range. So that's in the $3-ish million a quarter. It's like new car deliveries. So 2.5 to 3. What percent of all new cars are trucks? Maybe 40%. So that would be 1 million. Ford's #1, but there's how many other brands? Maybe 5 realistic. Well, you said it's electric trucks?
Yes.
Electric trucks.
How many did they sell to be the leader of electric trucks, not
Be the leader
trucks?
no, just electric trucks.
Okay.
Which is a tiny percentage of all trucks sold.
Indeed.
Hey, Joe, shut it.
It just is.
I'm working through it. I'd have got there.
Somebody
but I know
alert the press that they don't sell nearly as many
Yes.
electric trucks.
Who knew?
Out there in the back 40 pasture, you're stringing up that electrical cord all the way to the back acreage in Wyoming.
Yeah. F-150s are the #1 truck for like 50 years or something almost now. So
long time.
All right. So there's 10 million trucks, 2.5 million, or 10 million cars, 2.5 million a quarter. Let's say 40% that's 1 million. Ford controls, let's say 40% of that's 400,000. I'm going to say that they sold in the first quarter. I'll just make it simple here. They sold 50,000 Lightning F-150s in Q1.
50,000.
Boy, thanks for making that simple, OG.
You're welcome, buddy.
Jesse, what do you think
Sorry,
about
49,862.
So the sun is 93 million miles away.
That's right.
And 1,400 watts per meter squared. Solar panels cost. I'm gonna guess. I've got my notes here. I was kind of jotting down some notes, thinking about. I was writing as OG was talking, and but my notes are much shorter. I'm gonna go lower. I'm gonna go 22,000. Being born on March 22nd. I'm gonna go 22,000 units in the quarter.
Wow, big old field goal there, Paula. You got 50,000 electric trucks, 22,000 electric trucks. What's your electrifying answer?
Oof. Okay, well, let's see. So dinosaurs roamed the earth 165. No, was it 65 million years ago? Yeah, it was 65 million. And then but the dinosaurs existed for like, what, wasn't it over 100 million years? So I'm going to go with.
Wait a minute, Paula, before you guess.
Yeah.
A friend of mine, Robert, shared with me a bumper sticker that he saw recently that said, this car runs on renewable dinosaurs. Or recycled dinosaurs.
They're not very renewable.
God, I can blow a punchline better than anybody. They're probably not renewing them, are they, Doug?
It's all, it becomes carbon, and the carbon becomes.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it is recycled dinosaurs.
Yeah, they disintegrate into the earth, and it's a circle of life. And then Elton John sings a song about it, and
and then it comes back again.
Yeah, it's all carbon and oxygen, and various other elements in the end.
Are you saying the circle of life all ends in Elton John's bank account?
No, because eventually the bank account withers and falls into the ground, and then it gets.
That's somebody else.
Exactly.
Say a number.
All right, what's your guess?
I'm going to take the over, 50,001.
50,000. I think it's got to be 49,863.
Oh,
right?
okay, yes. If OG's guess was.
No, we're going with 50K. For OG's first guess was 50K. That's what I've already done the math. We're not revising that.
I think that's why he wanted. OG got to do a better job next time of saying a number with 2 decimals.
I will.
Yeah. All right. Paula's got 50,001. OG's got 50,000. Jesse, 22,000. Who's going to win this? We'll find out. User online is putting $100 on you, Paula. So let's see. Here we go.
That's a lot of responsibility. Whew.
I'll take that bet.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada?
Yes, please. Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
All right, OG, you kick this off with 50,000. Feeling pretty good?
No. The first damn thing about electric vehicles, let alone electric Ford vehicles.
Jesse, 22,000. You feeling better than OG?
Yes.
Oh, he feels very good.
Well, I'm not positive, but I think the number's lower than I'm glad I'm on the under. That's all. Gut instinct is I'm glad I'm on the under.
You're glad you're the bottom. You were making me the bottom earlier. Now you're the bottom.
I'm worried about the field goal, but I'm happy being on the bottom right now.
And Paula, you got the top, 50,001.
I mean, there's a wide range. Like the range is 50,001 through infinity. So I certainly have the bulk of the numerical system.
All right. Is user online getting $100? Is Paula going to go 2 in a row? Doug, what's our answer, man?
Well, hey there, stackers. I'm human voltage meter because I'll stick my fingers in anything. And guy who shockingly isn't an electrician, Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug.
Shockingly.
See what I did there? It turns out the Cadillac Motor Company, weirdly enough, was named after French explorer Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac. He did a bunch of nothing, according to his mom, except created the incredibly badass city of Detroit in 1701. Though today, we're talking about the company formed just a few years later in Motown, Ford Motor. Specifically, their F-150 Lightning electric truck, which took over the #1 spot in the division earlier this year. So how many units did they sell in the first 3 months of 2025? Well, what I can say is this. It was 42,088 units less than what Paula guessed, 42,087 less than what OG guessed, and just 14,087 less than what Jesse guessed, because the correct answer is 7,913, meaning Jesse is getting closer to that lead.
Wow. This is getting to be a close competition between the two of you. I'm liking this. I'm liking it.
Paula's like, I'm going to assume the spectator role.
Yeah.
Paula likes to watch.
Doug, what was that French guy's middle name?
De la Mothe.
De la Mothe. I thought you said
De la
that.
Mothe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting name.
M-O-T-H-E.
Yeah.
Oh, M-O-T. Okay. Got it.
M-O-T-H-E.
I was hearing M-U-F-F.
Lamoth?
M-U-F-F is what I was hearing.
Lamoth. Congratulations, Jesse. Now at 9.5 points.
Wow.
There we go.
Almost striking distance. Almost.
We're coming down the home stretch. Things are tight.
We got 4.5 months to go, so we shall see. But let's get back to our original game, which this time is called In or Out. We're going to shift our focus now from our Monday topic, which was when attorney Tim Senro joined us, and we asked him estate planning questions, to when Adam Nash, CEO of Daffy, was here. And let's talk about charitable giving. OG, I don't think we started with you last time, so we're going to start with you. OG, are you in or out? Anonymous giving should be avoided, so others are encouraged to give. You know how you always see those given anonymously? Are you in or out that should be avoided?
Well, how vain are you?
Well, I think the point here is if people see that you gave, they're more likely to give.
Right. But generally speaking, the anonymous gifts aren't the $100 ones. They're the $100,000 ones, right? I mean, I know that there are some, but I would venture to say proportionately, the anonymous ones are the ones with commas and lots of zeros, not necessarily the ones that don't have commas and very few zeros. So if you're trying to influence other people, I think it's totally fine to not be anonymous. I don't know if that was your question or not. I know that in the charitable donation world, foundations and the like, let's say that it's a specific organization, like maybe it's using Ford as an example. Maybe Ford has a charitable arm or something, right? One of the things that makes them attractive from a charitable standpoint for other places to give money to Ford is the percentage of employees who give to the Ford Charitable Foundation. So if there was one, I'm just making that up, or the Harvard one, or, insert whatever group here. One of the questions that third-party donors would ask a charitable foundation or a charitable fund is, what percent of your own people are doing this? You want that number to be really high. So if you give anonymously, they can't track that, all of the third graders' parents contributed to the school fund. They just know that some people gave some money. So it is important from a charitable fund standpoint to make your donation public. Now, what you could choose to do is actually do both. Let's say that you are one of those people that are fortunate to be able to donate a bunch of money to, whatever, but you don't have the vanity attached to it. why don't you give $500 so that everybody can see that you donated, and $49,500 anonymously, and you still do what you want to do without having to draw the attention of like, well, Joe's family must be doing good. Look at how much money they just gave the symphony. Hoo la la.
So just given the question as written here, anonymous giving should be avoided so others are encouraged to give. It sounds like you're out.
Anonymous, there's so many negatives in this
That it
question.
should be avoided. Should be avoided.
So you definitely shouldn't do it?
You're saying go ahead and give anonymously if you want, which would mean you're out. It should be avoided.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you should give money publicly, but a smaller amount.
So the answer is...
So you could check the box that says...
You're in.
You know, the electrical department at Ford has 100% participation. And that's a big deal.
So you agree with this statement then? Anonymous giving should be avoided.
Yes.
Yes. He is in.
Asterisk. Unless you have a whole bunch of money you want to give away and don't want to like let everybody know that you're rich.
It's the asterisks that are the fun part of this for me, but I get it. Paula, anonymous giving should be avoided so others are encouraged to give. You in or out?
I am out. I'm out on this one.
Oh.
I think giving is giving. Giving is giving is giving. And whatever can happen to encourage people to give should absolutely be encouraged. If anonymous giving is the thing that encourages you to give more, to give greater volumes of money, or to give with more frequency, greater frequency, anything that encourages giving, I'm in for.
Jesse, how about you?
Yeah, I'm of the mind that just give, like, I've got a little bit of a who cares. Like, who cares? Give how you want to give. If you want to give anonymously to shield your identity, to prevent other people knowing from your asset base, great. That's fine. If you want to give so that you can see your name on a brick or you can see your name on a building because you, like OG started with, how vain are you? I mean, to some extent, it's like, right, if you want to see your name up there or you want your heirs to see your name up there, fine, go right ahead. I'm not really sure I have a preference. And I don't know enough to know if there's that psychological proof that by you attaching your name to something, you're going to influence more people to do it. I mean, around here, if I donated a big sum of money and said Jesse Cramer made this donation, I bet you it would drive other donors away. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure that benefit is there. So I don't know if that makes me in or out, Joe. You might have to tell me with the whole, does that make me in or out?
That makes you out because no, wait a minute. You should avoid anonymous giving. The answer is you're out on that.
So many negatives.
You're out. Paula's out. OG's
This is
in.
a confusing double negative. It's like, so you're out.
You should avoid
For sure not going to do it.
You're out that it should be avoided. So you're in that it shouldn't not
All
be
you
avoided.
all you got to do, Paula, is just listen to the question and say, do I agree with that? You should avoid anonymous giving. Are you in or out? You should avoid anonymous giving.
I'm out.
Yes, you are out. And OG's in. And
I'm going to say yes or no from now on.
Right. So I'm trying to think of the opposites too. If the statement was you should give anonymously, I would be out because I don't care how you give.
You would say no.
I think Dan online, hanging out with us on YouTube, sums it up perfectly. He says he's not in. All right. Question number 2, coming down the home stretch here, Paula. Mm-hmm. Are you in or out? You should give during your lifetime and still waiting until you die.
I mean, my answer is you should do both. So I guess strictly speaking, I am in because the question does not say you should only give during your lifetime.
Let's say you're choosing just one asset today and you have to choose. Do I give it now or do I wait till later? Which one's your preference?
I'd rather give during my lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer is you're in.
Yeah.
Jesse, how about you?
Yeah, I'm in for reasons of just anecdotes that I've heard and stuff that I've heard from my audience or people I talk with. And even for some personal reasons of like within my family where I've seen that a good amount of joy comes from giving away some of your assets during life and seeing your heirs put them to use. I think that's a die with zero concept that, it's not like Bill Perkins invented it, but I think it's a seminal part of his message. Even something as simple as like a little personal anecdote is that my brothers and I went on a hike a couple weekends ago, and our dad was kind of asking us some of the details, where are you staying and how are you doing this? And it was a really frugal hike because we got free, a friend gave us free accommodations and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be like a few $100. It's going to be gas and groceries and that's it. And my dad was like, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for it. Like, it's a family trip. You boys are going to spend family time. And I could tell in his kind of stoic way, I think it brought him satisfaction to give some money away to us. Even in those simple ways, I think giving it away while you're alive is on net better than giving it away after you die.
Dividend is commenting, this segment's stressing me out.
It's not stressing him in.
That's right.
Yes.
He is out. I'm being stressed in. OG, give during your lifetime?
Yeah. I mean, if you're in both circumstances, if you're thinking about it from the context of some charitable organization or something like that, and or if you're thinking about it from the perspective of I'm forecast to have an estate of $4 million when I'm 100 years old, and that's going to go to my kids. Well, maybe they'd be, have greater utility out of it at 40 with 250K right now, and you die with an estate of 2.5 million instead of 4 because you were able to help them buy a house or something like that instead. So, yeah, I would say in both circumstances.
Yeah, David Drow makes a nice comment here. Inheritance is 65, not worth much. Maybe better when people are younger, I think is kind of the point there. And Jesse, I agree with something that you said earlier, which is also there's this joy in you seeing them use it. I mean, you can get joy during your lifetime watching people make good use of money that you're not going to spend, or maybe, do something together with it. I don't know. All right. Last person. Who has it gone first this round? I think we had Paula go first. OG went first. I think, Jesse, that does leave you. Last question for today's show. And that is this. I know we had Adam on Wednesday, but I want to get your take on this. Are you in or out? You should use a donor advised fund to manage your giving. Are you in or out?
Oh, Joe. Black and white, huh? Very black and white. I'm going to say out. And the reason why is because I think that answer applies to the most people out there who give charitably. I'm on the board of a nonprofit, and I know, at least for us, the overwhelming majority of our individual donations are the $50, $75, $100 amounts. And if that's the amount that you're giving, even if you give $1,000 a year, spread, $100 at a time to 10 different organizations, I'm pretty sure that's too small to get any sort of benefit from the use of a donor advised fund. It's only when you get into much, much bigger numbers in terms of donations, and you've got appreciated stock going in and out like that. Those are the situations where I think donor advised funds start to make more sense. Happy to be wrong on that, by the way. But based on that understanding, I am out on your statement.
OG, how about you? You should use a donor advised fund to manage your giving?
Well, I'm just glad that Jesse's happy to be wrong because he's wrong.
Please tell me, educate me.
I mean, the reality is that it's so much simpler, back up 10 years or even 5 years ago. And yeah, it's like unnecessary. But now, honestly, if you have any non-qualified money in your net worth, any sort of position, you've got a mutual fund, an ETF, a stock, you have any of that, you should always give that to your donor advised fund and put cash into your brokerage account that would be equal to your donation. So in Jesse, in your case, you say, well, it's $1,000 and I was going to split it up 100 different ways or 10 different ways. It's just not worth it. I would say it is worth it. You have to earn $1,200 to donate 1,000, or you can take $1,000 out of your brokerage account and not pay any taxes on that, put it into your donor advised fund and donate it as you see fit. And secondarily, as you get to that spot, first of all, you're building that muscle, but as you get to the spot where sometimes those donations add up and, maybe you're able to pull forward a bunch of stuff in 1 year and that sort of thing, you have one line item on your taxes. The donation occurs from a tax standpoint when you put it in the donor advised fund, not when you send it to the Girl Scouts and to the Boy Scouts and to whatever. Like, that's just a secondary thing. So if you say, every month I'm going to take $100 out of my brokerage account of my most highly appreciated thing that month and put it in my donor advised fund, at the end of the year, you get one statement that says you put $1,000 here, done. Now I know $1,000 doesn't get you anything on your tax return right now, but it might someday in the future. And nevertheless, it's just super easy to keep track of. So yeah, you should never donate cash. If you have a brokerage account, you should never donate cash to anything.
I think I agree with everything you just said. It's just a matter of, I don't think most people have a taxable brokerage account. And I don't think most people would ever put enough money into a donor advised fund to itemize that year's tax bill. If we're talking about stackers, people who are self-selecting to listen to finance podcasts, you're probably right. That is different. And if we're talking about the people out there who have highly appreciated assets to put into a donor advised fund, of course, that changes the conversation.
I just think, it goes back to donate during your life or later. You can make a bigger impact, especially if you're young, in not really deciding what's super important to you yet. What's become important to me in my late 40s is a lot different than even just 10 years ago, and is certainly a lot different than my perspective on things in my 20s. And if I would have continued the same contribution level, if it's a percentage number or if it's a dollar amount, and just said, okay, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this yet, but I know I want to build the muscle of giving. And so I'm going to, I'm always going to put 3% of my income in my donor advised fund. That money sits there and it grows, it does its thing. And then I can make a large donation to a thing that really matters to me later on. So I think it's just a good place, especially because it's easier to manage now. It's super low cost. I know that there's a cost at Schwab and Fidelity, but it's still low-ish cost. It's just a good bucket to have one line item that goes, this is my charitable money. And then when you find something that excites you, you just go online, you type it in, they mail a check, and off you go.
Paul, let's bring you into this. You should use the donor advised fund to manage your giving. Are you in or out?
I am in. So I am in for all of the reasons that OG just said. And in addition to that, the two other points that I want to make. One is that you can give away very small amounts. One of the people in chat, was it Phi? Yeah, Phi Lighter in chat said the donor advised fund at Fidelity allows for $50 grants. My donor advised fund is at Schwab. And I don't know if they have a specific minimum, but I know that in the past I have given away like $100, $200 out of there, and that's not been a problem. So even giving very, very small amounts, you can easily do it from a donor advised fund. So A, there's all of the reasons that OG just said, but B, I think one of the other biggest reasons for me is just from a budgeting perspective and like from a mental bucketing perspective, having a singular bucket of money that mentally and literally you can say, this is my charitable giving money. It just makes the budgeting element and the bucketing element so much easier.
I agree with everything both you, Paula, and OG said. And obviously we had Adam on the show on Wednesday from Daffy doing a deep dive on how these things work. And so I love the idea of them, but we're going to go 2 and 2, 2 ins and 2 outs, because Jesse, I'm with you, but for a different reason. And the reason is knowing a lot of people who run these wonderful organizations that need support. And this, Jesse, you brought up a little bit of this. There is so much money sitting in donor advised funds that is yet ungiven. And I think the fact, OG, about what you said about the fact that we get the tax break when we put the money in, and then actually giving the money is a separate thing later when something excites me. Well, the bad news is I feel like we go after the tax break and then we just sit on it, because there's in 2023, which is the most recent data that I have, $54.77 billion sitting in donor advised funds that haven't been given yet to any charitable organization. And when you talk to these heads of these great organizations, they're like, we need help now. And people are just sitting on huge sums of money. Some people not making a decision because all they're in it for is the tax break. So while I agree with everything, and we'll see both OG's and Paula's points, if you could have a donor advised fund and make sure the money gets given, great, do that. But the amount that's sitting in these things is really not helping, I think, what it was intended to help. Interesting thing to me, donor advised funds. Let's end this show with finding out what amazing stuff you guys are all doing. By the way, I want to thank everyone on YouTube hanging out with us for the exciting chat today. You guys really showed up. Nice work. And thanks to our contributors for a fantastic end to our charitable giving and estate planning week. You know, what's funny, Doug, is that you plan a week like this and it just sounds like such a snoozer, estate planning and charitable giving. And yet the community always shows up and everybody's so happy to chat about this stuff. It really was a great week. And hopefully we give to a lot of great organizations and get our estate plan done. Damn it. But after you're done, or maybe before you're done with your estate plan, you can hit pause and find out what's going on in the Afford Anything show. What's going on at Afford Anything, Paula?
On the Afford Anything podcast, we have an interview with Lori Rosenkopf. She's a professor of management at Wharton, and she talks about all of the various forms of entrepreneurship. So there are people who are bootstrappers. There are people who are trying to develop the unicorn. There are people who are funders. There are all of these different varieties of entrepreneurs, different flavors.
Black
So
marketers.
she walks through that framework.
Black marketers.
I mean, it's real.
Did black marketers make her list, Paula?
The what marketers?
Black market. You know the black market.
Oh yeah, like the underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, no?
No, I believe that she was only discussing legal types of.
Missing out. You're missing out on a very lucrative avenue. Strongly consider.
Especially, Doug, if your favorite color is orange. It's fantastic. But entrepreneurship showing up front and center at the Afford Anything podcast.
Yes. That's with Lori Rosenkopf.
Lori Rosenkopf. Oh, gee, what are you doing this fine mid-August weekend?
Is that this weekend or next weekend?
This is the 22nd.
Oh, well, in that case, I have already dropped my kid off at college, so we are down to 2 to go. But who's counting?
Spoken with so much empathy and heart. Jesse Cramer, what's going on at the Personal Finance for Long-Term Investors podcast?
Well, I feel like I might have to publish a Ask Me Anything episode with donor advised funds. I'm still seeing some great comments coming here through the live stream chat, and it's a little gray. I've got an episode coming up. Speaking of random ramblings, like the one I just went on, I've got an episode coming up, and the working title is Jesse's Random Ramblings. But long story short, I talk about some controversial and or contrarian takes that I have from the personal finance and financial planning and investing world. So that'll be a fun episode.
Stuff that you're out on.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. What a segue, Joe. You've been doing this for a while, huh?
It's fate. I'm a veteran. I'm the veteran quarterback of this podcast.
You're the power bottom of this podcast. That's right.
I didn't say power bottom. I'm going with veteran quarterback, but your terminology may differ. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for hanging out. If you know somebody who is thinking about how do I gift better or how do I set up my estate plan, maybe they need to set up their estate plan. Go back to Monday's show with Tim Semrel or Wednesday's show with Adam Nash or today's In or Out. Refer this week to them because I think we just wrapped up a great week on those topics. But the way we wrap it up officially is with Doug telling us what are the things that are on our to-do list today.
Well, Joe, first take some advice from Jesse. Uneven is not the same as unfair. Look, if you want to give less to one of your sons because he had bad aim in the bathroom, look, that's up to you. Second, don't forget what OG said about giving while you're alive. You should not do it if you don't want to see people not be happy. I think that's what he said. But the big lesson? Forget a will. I'm leaving my estate to the guy who can beat me at Mario Kart. Good luck, kids. Thanks to the Jesse Cramer for joining us today. You'll find the Personal Finance for Long-Term Investors podcast wherever you're listening to us now. Literally. Oh, you're at the grocery store? It's next to the giant tub of bean dip. You're at Home Depot? It's in aisle 5, just below the big knockers.
What?
The door knockers. Are you confused? Don't worry. It's always on the device that you're listening to right now, no matter what aisle you're in. You know what? We'll also include links in our show notes at stackingbenjamins.com. I really wanted to say speaking of big knockers, but I probably shouldn't say that. Can I say that?
Go.
I want to say it. I still want to say it.
Go for it.
Speaking of big door knockers, thanks to Paula Pant for hanging out with us today. You'll find her fabulous podcast, Afford Anything, wherever you listen to finer podcasts. I did it. I said it.
Oh, God.
Thanks also to OG for joining us today. Looking for good financial planning help? Head to stackingbenjamins.com/OG for his calendar. This show is the property of SP Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2025, and is created by Joe Saul-Sehy. Joe gets help from a few of our neighborhood friends. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. Oh yeah, and before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.